22 to 24-year-olds today are a lot more likely to have credit cards than 22 to 24-year-olds a decade ago, according to a recent TransUnion report. I think this is a really interesting bake-off between Gen Zers and Millennials. It's true that Millennials were slow to get on board with credit cards. A prominent theory is that Millennials were really scarred by the financial crisis, and that was something that they saw as they grew up and maybe saw older siblings or parents affected by that. A lot of Millennials have been very debt averse, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want people to be in credit card debt, but I think there are negative effects to waiting too long to sign up for credit, because it's important to build a strong credit score for future loans and lines of credit and apartment leases. And of course, if you're able to pay in full, credit cards are great because you build credit, you get all kinds of rewards and buyer protections and convenience. I actually think a lot of Millennials avoided credit to a fault, and it took a long time to climb on board. What we're seeing with Gen Zers is very different. Gen Zers have been early to adopt credit cards and also other loans like buy now, pay later plans. Unfortunately, the TransUnion analysis found that Gen Zers are a lot more likely to be falling behind on their credit card bills than Millennials were a decade ago. And they're also running up higher debt loads. So the using credit piece, I think, can be a really good thing. Unfortunately, many are not using it, quote unquote, responsibly. I don't want to shame people because, look, the truth is high inflation and high interest rates have really squeezed people. The report found that a lot of people are financing daily essentials because they feel like they have to. And I know that's a tough spot to be in, but I would underscore the dangers of credit card debt. I really think the best way to use a credit card is to pay in full each and every month. If you're carrying a balance at that average interest rate north of 20%, that can become really systematic and can really trap you in a long-term debt cycle. So if you have credit card debt, regardless of your age, I think a great tip is to sign up for a 0% balance transfer card, move that high-cost debt over, pause that interest clock for up to 21 months, or maybe consider engaging with a reputable nonprofit credit counseling agency like Money Management International. They can really help you out, especially if you need some extra guidance or if you have a low credit score or a lot of debt.